You can break rules all the time. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to Life According to Josh. On today's episode, we are going to tackle breaking the rules, not the law, but breaking the rules. The first concept kind of came to me from Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, who said just that.
Rule number 2 is break the rules. We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules.
And this is a man who overcame insurmountable odds when so many things are stacked against him. He became the world's biggest bodybuilder at the time, at a time when bodybuilding wasn't really a thing. It'd be like me asking you, hey, are you going to become the world's greatest Jell-O eater? And you're like, that's not a thing. And then 10 years later, you're like, oh my God, he's the best at it. It's crazy. And so he went ahead anyways and flew all the way across the world and became the world's greatest bodybuilder. Then he went on to become the greatest Hollywood blockbuster actor, and then governing a state. How does one do something like this, especially when all the odds are stacked against him? A great example of this is how he just didn't really listen to everybody else's limiting beliefs. When he first started trying to become an actor, they told him all the time, hey, your body is way too big for the screen, and you have a really thick accent, and you're really hard to understand. One of the biggest first roles he got, Hercules in New York, who just walks around, lifts heavy objects, flexes his arms and muscles, and they dubbed over his voice. It's not that big a deal. And then he continues to get roles completely based on literally the thing they said he couldn't be. You're too big, you sound too robotic. Okay, let's make him a role as like the #1 robot machine. He just kept getting stronger and better, completely against the odds, against what other people believed he shouldn't do. Another part of this concept comes from Malcolm Gladwell's book, David and Goliath. And right there in the very first title, he talks about the story of David and Goliath, and perhaps we don't see it quite right. A really important thing to understand about not following the rules is that they were often put there by somebody else, not you. They could be societal rules, they could be implemented by your parents, they could be anything. But the rules are set up by other people at their advantage, to your disadvantage. And in the book, Malcolm Gladwell's David and Goliath, he specifically talks about this. You can take a look at David and Goliath. Nobody could beat Goliath to hand-to-hand combat. Just wouldn't work. He was huge, he was covered in armor, he had a giant shield, he could lift more than you, he would crush you. So what does David do? Throws a sling, hits him in the head, kills him. Because apparently these things can fly almost as fast as a bullet, and small enough, fast enough, boom, kill the guy. So David decided, instead of fighting this guy hand-to-hand, which he would obviously lose, he decides to play by his own rules and fight him in this direction. It's a very important thing to understand that if we always continually play by other people's rules, we're playing mostly to our disadvantage and to their advantage. It's like walking to a casino. The casino has made up the rules, and you come in and you play by their rules. I'm not saying go in and, again, break the law and do something crazy, but that's why people decided to count cards as an example, because you can kind of flip the rules a little bit. You can be like, well, actually, this is now my advantage, and if I play by my advantage, I win. Casino didn't like that much and mostly bans people who count cards. Not illegal, but it's frowned upon, that's for sure. And another way to start to look at this is even in the small, little societal things. Malcolm Gladwell has a whole bunch of examples of people not playing by other people's rules, not playing to their advantage. Ones with MLK, ones in schools, ones in all different sorts of areas. If you want more context, I highly recommend giving the book a read, but there's lots of little ways that you can start to take a look at where you let societal rules dictate how you perform and how you show up. Great example, waiting in the lineup. Most of us will just naturally wait in the lineup. If somebody budges, what do? We scream and we fight. There's even TV shows where when someone budges in line, what do? We stand up to that bully who budged in line. I'm not saying go around budging in line, but does it really matter sometimes if someone skips ahead? I've been in a line at a place before and someone, for whatever reason, they were VIP or they had a fast, they had more money, whatever it was, and they got to the front of the line and they got what they wanted. The only reason I was ever upset is because they got what I wanted. We can all have that if we kind of shift the rules to our favor. I'm not saying go and budge inside of 1,000 lines. I'm just saying take a look at what comes up for you in the idea of skipping to the front of a line. Does it feel scary? Does it feel like you're cheating? Does it feel like something wrong? Because all of these rules, these self-imposed things, often by other people, whatever, they tend to not be real. None of it's really real. Everything's made up. Nothing really matters. And I don't mean that in a nihilistic way. I mean, you can do push-ups in the middle of a sidewalk and thumbs up people. People do it on Instagram all the time. People like to make fun of them, but then they have, 2.5 million followers. They make a living making content, but then it's really easy to stand on the backside and make fun of them. And I think that's often what most of us tend to be kind of scared of. We're scared of the way we'll be ridiculed, the way we'll be seen, the way of, if I don't follow the rules, I'm gonna get made fun of, or I'll get punished, because that's tends to be what happens. When we were little, we didn't follow the rules. If we didn't follow the rules, there was a punishment that followed. You're an adult now. Chances are you can handle the punishment, and often there isn't even a punishment. I'll give you another example. I ran a business that was widely new. It was new, it was unheard of in this. It was an interactive theater-based experience that at the time wasn't really a thing that was happening. And when I looked for the box of where it fit inside the venue that I was trying to do it in, for the government and the permits, there was no box that fit to what I was doing. So what do? Do I go through the rigmarole and go through the tests and getting the permits of getting everything done the way it's supposed to be done? Or do I just say something else and tick a different box that makes sense? Oh yeah, I'm a improv group. We kind of improv, that's not wrong. Sure, click, boom, everything passes by. There's so many people do this all the time, and their businesses end up running. It doesn't really matter what it looks like on the backside, just what you advertise it to the people. Speaking of improv, improv is a great way to break the rules. There's so much in society that says, like, don't say this and don't say that, and that'll be offensive. Some of the greatest comedians tend to offend people. They tend to not go by the status quo and change things just a little bit. So, how can you do the same thing? What rules are you using every single day to keep yourself small? And how can you start to push outside of these rules? Because these rules tend to hold us back a lot because we're not playing to our advantage. How can you shift those rules to start playing by your advantage? Where's your zone of genius? And how can you start to play by your own rules? A lot of people stay stuck in their jobs or in relationships because of these unwritten rules. Oh no, I owe them 2 weeks, or they've been loyal to me for the last year, so I shouldn't quit. And yeah, I know it's not perfect, but every little thing that you say or that people say on a regular basis that keeps us stuck. But you don't owe anything to your job. You work, they pay you, end of transaction. If you want to leave tomorrow because a fantastic opportunity came, go do it. But there's probably a narrative at the back of your head that's going, ooh, I don't know if I should because they've been so nice. It doesn't matter. Again, I'm not saying go around and burn bridges. I'm just saying there's unwritten societal rules that we tend to be scared to break. But some of the most successful people I've ever known, I'm like, hey man, thanks for the job opportunity. I found another one. I'll get someone to take my role. Here you go. Boom, they go over there. They grow up that ladder. They just keep growing. Don't let other people slow you down. Don't let rules slow you down. If you got a place you want to go, hop the fence, do the thing, whatever. Stop letting people dictate where you go and where you don't go. So what you need to start doing is just do a simple gut check. Am I doing this thing because it's the law? Or am I doing this thing because of a rule that someone else dictated? My mom, my dad, a friend, an old coworker, a bully, whatever it happened to be. Why are you doing things that way? And how can you implement them? Branson's a great example of someone who skipped the traditional, if you want to be CEO, you got to get an MBA and you got to do it this way. So many people will tell you things have to be a very specific way in order to go from A to B. But we all know that the entrepreneurial path more looks like, or the life path for that matter. It's not necessarily the entrepreneurial one, but life path is who cares? Do whatever you want. Have fun with it. You can break rules all the time. Because if you break a rule, it's a slap on the wrist. No one can put you in timeout anymore. Nobody can say, oh, you have to go to your room and think about what you did. They can, and you can go, no, I'm not going to do that. Same thing for relationships. If you're in a tough relationship and it's not going the way you want, you don't have to follow some kind of unwritten rules. Oh, but I have to be nice and I have to... No, really. I'm not saying be a dick, but you can. So what I would love to know, what's a rule that you're sick of that you'd like to break? Put it in the comments below. See you next time on Life According to Josh.